Peace, family. It's Open Hands from the Meeting of the Minds podcast, and from myself, our producer King Khazm, and the whole Meeting of the Minds family, we'd like to wish you a Happy New Year. As we go into 2022, there's a lot of memories we carry with us. It's been a complex year to say the least, and among many of the things that we've grown from, the things we've gained, we've lost a few. And we'd like to carry on what's become a tradition in holding to that power of our memories to keep alive those in our lives that have mattered to us over the years, those who have made an impact, created foundations, or touched us in some way in our lives, knowing that our memory will keep those individuals living on far past the time of their physical vessels. We like to take a moment to go down the list of some of the individuals that have passed on in the year 2021. We're going to go right into some of the pioneers that transitioned on this year, beginning with Mark Anthony Morales, a.k.a. Prince Markie Dee of the Fat Boys. Prince Markie Dee was a beloved figure in hip-hop, a big boy who could sing, dance, rap, beatbox, act, and crack a good joke. Aside from being among the first artists to release a full-length hip-hop album, few groups embody that era of hip-hop where being fun and goofy could make you a star like the Fat Boys did. So many parts of hip-hop that we know today, from stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em, onto Can You Feel Me, came from their art. We remember Prince Markie Dee for his contributions. Speaking of princes in hip-hop, let's go on to the clown prince of hip-hop, Marcel Theo Hall, known to most of us as Biz Markie. Biz Markie was technically famous. Some would say he didn't act like it. A member of the world-renowned Juice Crew with MC Shan, Big Daddy Kane, Roxanne Shante, Master Ace, Tragedy, Craig G, and Cool G Rap. Known as the Inhuman Orchestra, he'd take beatbox onto a level it hadn't yet been at in the game. Among the many times he made history, he set a new legal precedent in sampling in hip-hop when he was sued by Gilbert O'Sullivan for sampling 8 bars of his music on the song Alone. The ruling in the case would cost Biz $250,000 and set the standard for artists that could be held accountable for sampling any portion of another artist's music. In true Biz fashion, he fought back with a joke and named his next record All Samples Cleared. Ronnie Green, a.k.a. Captain Rock. For any DJ that's ever cut fresh into their set, we all owe a moment of reflection on the contributions of Captain Rock. Captain Rock DJ'd for DJ Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in the 70s, which, along with Alonzo Brown, also included Andre Harrell, who would go on to found Uptown Records. From helping to build the scene at the iconic venue Harlem World, or appearing on the pivotal compilation series Street Sounds Electro, on to putting that fresh sound at the beginning of his own release of Cosmic Blast, Captain Rock was part of some big moments in the history of hip-hop culture. We remember him. Kangol Kid. Kangol Kid's often remembered for starting off the first verse of Roxanne, Roxanne, which began one of the first series of publicly released hip-hop battle songs, also known to be the song that sparked off 1,000 other songs in response. He's also remembered warmly by many as a friend. As a member of the group UTFO, aka the Untouchable Force Organization, Kangol Kid was a part of the well-publicized beef between his group and Roxanne Shante. The song goes down in history as being pioneering in a long line of diss tracks over the years, but it's also important to note that in using the sample for Billy Squires' The Big Beat on that song, it also makes it one of the first hip-hop songs to sample a breakbeat. UTFO is also one of the earliest groups to cut back from those 8 to 12 minute long songs and pave the way for early radio hits of hip-hop, making a song that was 3 to 4 minutes in length and uses the structure that many of us that make hip-hop music use today. Big Lord. Big Lord's a longtime leader of the Universal Zulu Nation, Chapter 16 in the Bronx. As he was well known for being an MC with his group Black UN and a host personality of Freedom Radio, friends also remember how he carried a lighthearted spirit in everything he did, despite the gravity of his work. A leader in the community and a friend to many. We remember Big Lord. DMX, a.k.a. Earl Simmons, passed on this year. I remember a scene in that Chris Rock film, Top 5, when Chris Rock's character was at rock bottom, locked up in a jail cell. He thought everything was lost, and he heard this sound coming from the other cell. He looks over and sees DMX inexplicably growling in his cell. When X sees him, he tells him not to let the industry box him in, and then he starts singing a love ballad and doing his own super hype ad libs at the same time. People know DMX's career and his hits, but one thing that we remember the most about X is being someone that at the same time could be dominant and vulnerable, and a million other duplicities. Sometimes his energy was so high that he drew attention from everything and everyone else in the world. And when it did, you really focused on him. And you couldn't help but see that maybe he looked exhausted. I don't know. When he finally did decide to rest, they put him in a fire red coffin on the top of a monster truck, shut down traffic in New York as it passed from Yonkers to his ceremony at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Someone that had a lot of fans of his music, but somehow managed to be enigmatic and so human at the same time, making him one of hip-hop's most engaging personalities. We'll remember him. Gregory Edward Jacobs, a.k.a. Shock G. Speaking of people with the power of living outside of a single box, a true virtuoso, Shock G passed on this year. Shock was the mastermind behind Digital Underground, a group with obvious roots in funk and hip-hop, but still defied definition. An MC, DJ, drummer, producer, pianist, actor, an unimitable character in hip-hop history. He blew the walls and ceilings off of any box that somebody might try to place him in. Aside from the ways that his own music changed the world around him, he also directly impacted hip-hop by building a stage that gave us our first view of Tupac, Saphir, Mystic, and a host of other people that gravitated to his vision. Someone asked him a question when Tupac died, and he said Pac wasn't concerned about death. He wasn't scared of death, and neither am I. Shock G lived a brave and creative life, and we can only assume he's going to handle the next transition in the same way. We remember Shock G. Black Rob passed on this year, Robert Ross. Someone else who worked with DMX on the song 24 Hours to Live. Robert Ross was born in Harlem, passed on from cardiac arrest in Atlanta at the age of 52. He was that dude, bad boy in the 90s, not wearing a shiny suit. Maybe his most memorable contribution to hip-hop was having a generation of people referring to things that were ill as, "That's woke." This year, Timothy Parker, a.k.a. Gift of Gab, passed on. Gift of Gab and his partner Chief XL formed the group Blackalicious, who, along with being the foundation of the legendary record label Quantum Project, built an incredible collective with other West Coast figures like Latif the Truth Speaker, DJ Shadow, and Lyrics Born. This brother was somebody that could sound like the old school and then still sound like the future at the same time. Also known for his good nature and simple example for making the world a better place, Gift of Gab represented the power of when good intentions meet incredible skills and a determination to be the dopest in the room. So hip-hop. Michael Turner, a.k.a. Double K, of People Under the Stairs, passed on this year. People Under the Stairs is widely regarded as one of the hardest touring hip-hop groups of all time. After 11 studio records, a life of work on the road, they played their last show in London at Jazz Cafe in 2018. 2019, they released Sincerely the P, their 12th and final studio album. It's sad when death takes away someone's chance to say goodbye to their people, but that album was exactly that. If you want to hear Double K deliver that farewell to you, go listen to the song Sounds of a Memory on the Sincerely LP, and it almost feels like he's speaking right to you. Knucklehead Banga, Crest, Washington, was a producer out of Tacoma, Washington, whose production collaborations include working with some of the elite West Coast legends in the industry, artists like Cocaine, E40, Too Short, Neo, DJ Quick, Snoop, Dogg Pound, Yuck Mouth, Jamie Foxx, and many, many more. He passed on this year, but his music will live on. DJ Wunderkut, Eric Carnado. Eric was a beloved hip-hop producer and turntablist based in the greater Vancouver area of British Columbia, Canada. He won the 2006 DMC Canada DJ Championships and competed in the 2006 DMC World Championships. He also lived by one of the deepest values of hip-hop, each one teach one. As a founder and instructor at the Vancouver-based DJ school, Table Tutors, he taught a younger generation the craft and helped for his work to live on into the future. Along with his students, we in the hip-hop community will remember him for his contributions. Check out the superb tech, cashing checks through dialect, doper than the gold around your neck. I remember getting hit with that line from the Critical remix with Madlib, Planet Asia, and of course, Zumbi. One half with his partner, Amp Live of Zion I, aka Baba Zumbi. He created a wealth of thoughtful and introspective music about the world we live in, sometimes involving glorious or horrible elements of human history, sometimes involving up-to-the-moment commentary on the world we live in. For example, when Zumbi's own family was priced out of their home in Oakland due to skyrocketing prices as a result of gentrification and new residents chasing tech money into the Bay, he wrote a song about it and filmed a music video while his family was packing and cleaning out the house to move. Zumbi believed music was a powerful tool to change our reality, and he lived that belief throughout his career. Not only a musician, he was also an activist and someone who cared about work-life balance in a way seldom seen in the music industry. Greg Tate. Pioneering journalist for The Village Voice, Rolling Stone, and other publications, Greg Tate was one of the most vocal advocates for hip-hop being given the type of coverage it deserves in the press. His work was instrumental in bringing the public perception of hip-hop out of the realm of subculture with a cult following into the understanding of it as a culture, an avant-garde movement that helps us to better understand the landscape of our world. He was known for being both gracious with his praise and cutting with his critique. Get a context of his work from one of his most famous articles, Cult Nats Meets Freaky Deek. Published in The Voice in 1986, it analyzed the contrast between the austerity of black nationalism with the wildness of the other side of freedom art, as in James Brown, and then, of course, onto hip-hop. Many of his ideas and his courage to express them laid foundations for a specific type of intellectualism that's flourished in hip-hop culture over the years, and we remember him for those contributions. Gloria Jean Watkins, better known by her pen name Bell Hooks. Bell Hooks said, "It is essential to our struggle for self-determination that we speak of love. For love is the necessary foundation, enabling us to survive the wars, the hardships, the sickness, and the dying with our spirits intact." Bell Hooks was an activist, author, a professor, and a leader in feminist thought that gave way to many of the ideals explored in the deepest parts of hip-hop as a social force among many other places in our world. The rapper Vic Mensa referenced reading Bell Hooks as an inspiration when he called out the trend of idolizing abusive figures within hip-hop at the 2018 BET Awards. The Chicago rap group BBU named one of their records Bell Hooks in her honor. At the same time, when the mainstream media outlets contacted Bell Hooks herself, trying to get quotes from a black feminist bashing gangster rap, she turned the conversation around, called out the interviewers for furthering white supremacy by painting the music in that one-dimensional light. Whether people in the modern world of hip-hop and beyond read her works or not, we've all been inspired and affected by her ideas, and we remember Bell Hooks. Jose Gutierrez, a.k.a. DJ Lover J. The world, and in particular the northwest corner of the United States, lost a hero and one of the greatest champions for the culture to COVID this year. Lover J was an indomitable spirit for using hip-hop culture as a tool for positive social growth. From forming a Temple of Hip-Hop chapter in the Northwest to helping grow many existing social organizations, including 206 Zulu, to co-founding the Hip Hop for the Homeless campaign, he never stopped working for the people. Jose was an MC, a journalist, a writer, radio personality, community organizer, a prolific DJ, and one of the most vocal proponents for the beauty of Northwest hip-hop culture, and so much more. He'll be missed by many as a public figure, and probably just as many as a personal friend. So family, would like to thank you for being here with us, spending the time to remember these individuals who have impacted us so much. We'd also like to invite you to join us in the tradition of keeping those that are important to us that have transitioned on alive with our words, with our thoughts, and of course, with our actions and the ways that they've inspired us. We'd like to send our love out to all of you who might have lost someone this year and know that Us all together will keep those thoughts and memories alive well into the future. As always, it's peace and love. And from the Meeting of the Minds family, we'd like to wish you a happy new year and an incredible 2022.